Hey, today we're going to talk about activities that you can do with someone who has dementia or Alzheimer's. If you are a caregiver for someone like that, then you know that a lot of times they're just wandering and fidgety, and they don't know what to do with themselves. They've got like this energy, and they don't know how to expel it. And it's very difficult sometimes to find or to come up with activities to do with that person just because of their limited skills. So today I'm going to talk about some ways that you can give them something to do that is purposeful, hopefully, because after all, every human being, no matter what, likes to find purpose in their everyday life. So we're going to go over some of that information. But first, I wanted to talk about some issues about just generally just dealing with someone with dementia. So let's get into that. So welcome to Senior Safety Advice. I'm Esther Kane. When I was working as an occupational therapist, my specialty was neurologically impaired adults. So that meant working with anyone with strokes, brain tumors, aneurysms, head injuries of any kind. And because it was mostly because I worked mostly in South Florida, it was usually an older population. So what I'm going to give you today, the information is all from my experiences during all those years doing that. All right, so let's get to it. So I wanted to talk a little general concepts of working with someone with dementia. One of the first things I want to say is that they may need supervision with any of these tasks. It just depends on what level their dementia or Alzheimer's may be. But just like you would with a child, you wouldn't leave them alone necessarily with scissors or paint or crayon. They could eat it, they could damage the walls, whatever. So you kind of want to have that same mindset. So please understand that they may need someone there with them while they're performing these. You can't just give them an activity and walk away necessarily. It just depends on what stage they're at. They are probably not going to perform the task that you give them as well as you would. They may not make the bed as well, or wash the dishes as well, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Don't berate them. Don't try to correct them. Don't try to fix it in front of them. You need to let it go. And this is a lesson more for family members than it is for the person with dementia or Alzheimer's. Because if you're into control and into perfection, then you do not need to be the person that is working with that person suffering from dementia, because it's never going to turn out very well. At least in my experience, that's what I've seen. So you need to let your senior loved one do it the way they can do it. Accept what they can do. Don't blame them for what they cannot do. That was a good lesson I learned as an OT. Schedules and routines are extremely important with anyone with a head injury of any kind, and that includes dementia and Alzheimer's. So if possible, and I know it's very difficult for a lot of families, but if it's possible to keep everything to a schedule, lunch at noon, reading time at 1 p.m., movies at 8 p.m., arts and crafts at 11 a.m., whatever the schedule is, try to keep to it, because it will make life much easier. It gives them a sense of normalcy, familiarity, and it gives the family, actually, it can make things easier having things on a schedule, knowing what has to be done when. But I know that that's difficult because life is messy and can't always do that. But if possible, create a schedule and stick to it as much as possible. All right. So let's get into the activities. What I thought I would do, what we used to do, is we used to try to find out as much about the person that we were treating as possible. What was their job? What were their hobbies? What did they like to do? What did they do? And that's part of being an occupational therapist, because you want to try to get that person back to doing as much of those things as possible. So when you're dealing with someone with dementia or Alzheimer's, obviously they may not be able to do those tasks as well or even at all, but they still have those skills. So you want to try to get them to use those skills maybe in another activity, but still the same skills. So I'm going to go over some tips of what we used to do. So first, you want to make a list. You want to make a list of what it is that they used to do as far as a job or a hobby. And it could be something like this, just a simple list of their job, activities, tasks, hobbies, likes, dislikes, whatever. So you have that written down, and it's much easier for some reason when you write it down. So I encourage you to take the time, get out a pad of paper, and write that down. And if they're cognizant enough, you can certainly do it with your senior loved one who has dementia or Alzheimer's. You want to try to avoid any new tasks. And I don't mean like an activity. What I mean is a whole brand new thing. Learning a new language, driving a golf cart. I don't know, is that a new thing? I don't know if you're driving. I don't know. Anything new, anything that they haven't done before. You're not going to pick up photography if you've never done photography. But you want to try to incorporate whatever skills they know from what they've done into a new task. I know it kind of sounds convoluted, so let's go into it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one of these, and I'm going to talk about the types of things that you can do based on that activity or job or whatever. Okay, so the first one is gardening. Let's say they were a gardener, or worked at a landscaping company, or they owned a landscaping company, or they just enjoyed gardening as a hobby. So they may not be able to read what's on the packet of seeds that they have, or they may be able to read it but not comprehend what it is. So you may have to help them with that. They may not remember that they just put water in that plant, so you want to help them with that. But you want to have things already set up and easy for them. So I would say if they're mobile enough, if it's safe enough, and if you have the environment that they can walk outside and they can do their gardening out there, I would say to have elevated garden beds. I see the mailman going. They have elevated garden beds, which makes it much easier for them. So, and I would have tables near those elevated garden beds where the tools are, where the watering can is. You don't want them to have to walk over to the other side of the yard to fill that watering can with water and then walk back. You want to have it set up so that everything is there as safe as possible, if any of that is possible. Of course, if you live in a winter environment, you're going to bring the garden indoors, and that's where potted plants come in. Anything that they can do to work with plants, if that's what they enjoy doing, then that's what you want them to do. It could even be an herb garden, a window garden, anything at all like that that they can tend to and care for. Maybe even planning next spring's winter garden if they are capable of doing that. Anything like that. Another additional thing you might be able to work with them on are arts and crafts for the yard. Painted rocks, stepping stones, the tags for fruits and vegetables and herbs. They have all kinds of kits where you can make those things and then they can use them in the garden if they're willing to do that. All right, what about if they were a computer repairman or a mechanic or a plumber? You want to incorporate those skills, which are basically taking things apart and putting things back together. So I would say for a computer repairman, I would go to the thrift store and get an old computer, and hopefully if they still have their toolkit, they can use their toolkit on that old computer, take it apart, put it back together. If they can't put it back together, you might end up putting it back together every night when they're sleeping, so that they can take it apart again the next day. The idea is that they're using their skills that their hands are familiar with, that their memory is familiar with, even if it doesn't create something that works. if they can use those skills. And that would be true with, PVC pipes that you take apart and put together, large Lego kits, robotic kits, anything like that where they have to put it together or they can take it apart. That would be a great activity for them. They could have their own space in the garage or family room, wherever, and hopefully that would give them some satisfaction. Okay, what if they were a photographer or they enjoyed photography? If they have their old camera, that would be amazing because they're familiar with that, or at least a camera that's similar to it. Don't even know if you can get film anymore for some of the old film cameras. But even if you can't, even if there's nothing that's actually produced from the picture taking, at least the act of picture taking is accomplished. And you could set it up with tasks like bird watching and taking pictures of that, taking pictures of food or pets or family or whatever. Have a set idea around taking pictures. Oh, okay, we're going to take pictures today of Rufus the dog because we're putting together a scrapbook for your grandson or anything like that. So just the act of taking the pictures would be good because they're familiar with that particular piece of equipment and they enjoy it. It's something they enjoy. Other things you can do is sorting photographs. And not just photographs of family members, which of course are always great, but photographs of other things, objects, animals, landscapes, anything. If they were a landscape photographer, they would enjoy looking at some of those, putting them together perhaps in their own scrapbook. It would be an amazing legacy of something that they left behind for the family if they can accomplish doing that. But either way, they would at least enjoy seeing those things again, the things that they've always enjoyed looking at before. Okay, what if it was a homemaker? And homemaker skills they can encompass a lot of things, everything from accounting to event planning to cooking, all kinds of things. So let's, depends on what that person did, but cooking is usually one of the, common homemaking things. Now, they may not be able to follow a recipe, they may not be able to make an entire meal, but they may be able to make a salad, or they may be able to just make just cut something for the salad. They may be able to mix the dough for cookies. Still, you have to be careful, make sure they're not using anything that can harm themselves with, and you don't want to leave them in the kitchen alone with the oven on or flame or the stove on, anything like that. But they can still participate in some tasks. And it doesn't just have to be cooking. It can be dusting. Although I would recommend that you take away anything that you don't want that could possibly break, that you want to keep. So make sure to clear the area before they begin dusting. Just put those things away for another time. But they could do sweeping, vacuuming, depending on their physical mobility. Put dishes away, set the table, help clear the table, fold the napkins, fold towels, sort the drawers, clean out the linen closet, anything like that they used to do that gives them a sense of purpose of contributing to the household is always a very, very good thing. What if they were a handyman type of person? Then again, it's very similar to like a computer repair. You want to give them something that they can do with the tools that they were familiar with. And it could be something simple like sanding a block of wood, although you kind of want to be careful about splinters, but it could be something like that. And then maybe if they can, turn that piece of wood into something, I don't know, like a kit kind of thing. They could do like birdhouses, that kind of thing. Again, sets of PVC pipes, putting together something like there's all kinds of wooden craft kits that they can put together. They can sort through bins and drawers of screws and nuts and bolts and that kind of stuff. Most handymen have a garage filled with all those kinds of things. Washing the car can be a great activity as well. Any kind of do-it-yourself kind of thing that they used to do would be a great thing for them to continue doing, as long as it's safe and most of the time needs to be supervised, depending on, again, what stage of dementia they're in. What if they're like me, where I love movies? So if they love movies or TV, then that could definitely be something you incorporate. So let's say every night at 8 o'clock, sit down and watch a movie. Better yet, if it's movies of actors and actresses that they loved, you know, Rock Hudson, Cary Grant, Doris Day, whomever. It would be wonderful. And even better if it could be a comedy kind of movie. You know, humor is a great healing source. I know when I get depressed, I always tend to watch Robin Williams or some comedy movie, anything that will help to make me laugh, and it always makes me feel better. So if they enjoyed that when they were younger, then they may enjoy it now. You know, there are a lot of wonderful old comedic movies. So please try to have a library of those kinds of DVDs for them to watch, even if it's the same movie every night. If they don't remember that they watched that movie, it may be a great thing for them. And the same goes with music. You know, whatever kind of music they liked, folk music, rock and roll, country music, you know, jazz, whatever. It's wonderful to just sit in your favorite chair and spend 30 minutes or so just listening to your favorite band or favorite musician or singer or type of music. And it can calm you down, it can relax you. It's a wonderful thing. And don't forget the TV shows also, you know, Columbo, the Ed Sullivan Show, Carol Burnett Show, whatever it is that they used to enjoy watching, laughing at, or just, you know, they just enjoy the actor or the actress. Don't forget that. A lot of those shows are on DVD as well. Singing is another thing. My 99-year-old mom-in-law loves to sing. She actually belongs to a choir where they go to assisted living facilities and nursing homes and they sing for them. And she sings most every single day. So I think that that's wonderful. You can use karaoke, you can use Alexa, you can use all kinds of tools. Even if you sing the exact same song every day, it doesn't matter. If you can do a sing-along with the family, that would be great. But I think singing, taking the time, especially the songs, obviously, that they know and they enjoy. My mom-in-law sings a lot of songs from the 40s, and I don't know them, but she remembers them word for word and loves them. And it's wonderful to hear her sing them. And reading is also another activity that a lot of people love to do. I have friends who just love to read. They'll read several books a week, and they just love the act of reading, just sitting, relaxing, and reading. Now, someone with dementia may not understand what they're reading. They may not comprehend it. They may not remember that they're reading, but they like the act of reading because it's something that they used to do. So I would recommend to get large print books, which are always much easier as you get older anyway, even comic books, anything that they used to enjoy reading. Get those types of books, have a little library of them available so that they can enjoy them every day. And again, try to keep it to a schedule every day at a certain time. It's reading time. And it may be something, at least it gives them something, even if they can remember, it gives them something to look forward to, saying, oh, okay, today at 4 o'clock, it's going to be reading time. At 5 o'clock, it's arts and crafts, you know, whatever. Those kinds of schedules can really help someone. So I hope these ideas may help your senior loved one with that's suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's. If anything, I hope it gives you some ideas of what maybe you can come up with for that person, you know, based on what they used to be able to do or what they used to do as a job or hobby or activity. I think no matter what, every human being on the planet wants to feel useful, purposeful. And I think if you can fill your days with activities that can give you that sense of purpose, you tend to be less agitated and aggravated and angry and all of that. Whereas you know, I mean, let's face it, someone who is suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's definitely will be going through some of those emotions. How can you not? They're, you know, slowly losing control over what they used to be able to do, and that's frightening. So providing these types of activities for them on a regular schedule is always a great thing, and it helps the family and caregivers as well. All right, I hope you found this information useful. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're very grateful and thankful for each one of our subscribers. Give us your comments. I am curious to know what activities and skills and tasks you guys come up with, and let me know, because I think it's amazing how ingenious some people can really be with their loved ones. So please let us know in the comments below. I'll put any links to any products that I think may be useful for you from what the activities and tasks that I gave you. And I do hope truly that this information you found useful. All right, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Stay safe. Bye.